Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and that is the 2023 Kia EV6 GT model. That thing is a blast and a half, and in this video I'm going to tell you my 5 favorite things, maybe 5 not so favorite things of this performance EV. Stay tuned. This video is brought to you by Electron EV chargers. More about them at the end of the video and down in the description below.
Charging started.
All right, gearheads, I have to start my 5 likes with this vehicle in the most obvious of places. This is the GT model, so therefore it is incredibly insane when it comes to performance. There isn't a whole lot to really clue you in on this being the performance model, unless you see it here from the side, because the GT line does mimic a lot of the design attributes of this one. But if you look right here, these big 21-inch wheels wrapped in Goodyear Eagle rubber, and these are SUV performance tires, but we're going to do a little bit of punishing them today. And they do hide these neon green brake calipers that are improved over other models of the vehicle. So very, very powerful, meant to do some fun stuff, because this thing has 576 horsepower. We'll do 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. All right, we're in GT mode. Foot firmly on the brake, pedal to the metal. Let's see what this thing can do. Gosh, 60. Woo. Let's go. Oh my gosh, 60. Woo. Go. Oh my gosh, and 60. Woo. Which has been checkmark verified to beat a 2021 Ferrari Roma and a Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spider rear-wheel drive. So this is supercar territory here for an everyday family vehicle, which is just insane to me. This also has a top speed of 161 miles per hour, and it does have dual motor all-wheel drive. So you get a 160 kilowatt front motor and a 270 kilowatt rear motor. We're going to punish these tires because it has drift mode. Everything about this vehicle is absolutely insane when it comes to the performance of it. The visceral acceleration of the instantaneous torque on this can make you sick to your stomach. The drift mode is an absolute blast, and I'm not going to say that any of these tire marks are mine, but it's a lot of fun. I will attest to that. So when it comes to just all-out fun performance vehicles, this one ranks pretty high on the list, even if there is no loud, fire-breathing V8 under the hood. Which brings me to my number 1 dislike of this vehicle compared to that GT line version that we tested, and to other variants of this platform, the Genesis GV60 perhaps, and that is the overall range sacrifices you make for all that performance. So you can see here we are at 84% battery with 176 miles of range. It is 81 degrees outside. You can see I am in eco mode right now, and we do have a regenerative braking turn on, but I will note that the EPA number on the window sticker is 202 miles of estimated range, or 220. In fact, I'm actually going to pull the window sticker out right here and show you. So yeah, 206, there we go, 206 miles of range on the window sticker from the EPA. And we were actually getting that at 95%. So I've seen upwards of 220 miles on this estimated range number right here. But still, it is quite the penalty for a vehicle that I don't think that we could road trip this one, much like we did the GT line, to our favorite vacation spot. This really is a stay close to home and have tons of fun, or maybe trailer it to a track kind of vehicle. But while we're inside, I can tell you my number 2 like of this, and that is the style. I already showed you outside some of the styling cues I really liked. The red paint on this is fantastic. In fact, you know what? let's just take another quick look at the styling on this, because it is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, the vehicle's running, so it's going to beep at me, but this dark red paint job on it is fantastic. Very much a Lightning McQueen style paint job. And then you get those neon brake calipers, 21-inch wheels, and performance tires on this. This really does look like nothing else on the road. It has a very alien style to it, very out of this world look. Doesn't even look like the other vehicles that are on this shared platform. Again, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Genesis GV60, both of which we have tested here on the channel, but this thing definitely looks the most out of this world of the bunch. And then you get this design element back here, this kind of Doppler look on the taillights that just wrap around the entire back. We are seeing some of this style trickle down to like the Sportage. Really just out of the box thinking and design here on the exterior of this EV6. And then coming to the inside, where we just were, you get more of that neon green accenting. So you get racing bucket seats in here. They are suede in the center and they are very comfortable. They hold you in place very well. These bolsters work very nicely and do a great job of making sure you're not sliding around in this. And then we get this floating center console, lots of storage underneath, really like that. And we got some ambient lighting up here on the dash. Holly's got it turned to pink, but you can get it to match the green stitching in this and just have a really interesting, athletic, electrified green performance vehicle from Kia here in the EV6 GT. And yes, I'm back in the driver's seat. And while we're talking about the driver's seat, my number 2 dislike is this driver's seat. While the bolsters are great, while the color is awesome, while the look and feel and comfort of them is top-notch, everything about it is manual. So manual sliding, manual lift, manual recline, manual everything in this. So there's no memory seat in it. There's none of that. It is strictly a manual seat operation, both here and on the passenger side, which at this price point, which we'll get to later, it's a big pill to swallow when it's something that you would just expect at this price point, right? Which brings me to my number 3 like of this vehicle, and that is the overall space. This thing is very spacious, very roomy. The wheelbase on this is longer than the 3-row Telluride SUV. So this is a 2-row vehicle with a wheelbase longer than a 3-row vehicle, which translates to just a ton of space. This is me sitting behind myself at 5'10", and when 5-foot Holly is driving, there is limo amounts of space back here. It is just absolutely ridiculous, and that seat actually does travel quite a bit forward and aft. I was surprised at just how close I felt that I was sitting when I looked back here, just to see how much room there was back here. You can see Tucker's got plenty of room over here in his seat, so just tons of space for people. And then as we get around and come around back to the back and open up the power lift gate, you can see there is, okay, and we lift up the power lift gate. Helps if you actually push the button and hold it. You can see how much space there is for stuff back here. So we do have a manually reclining back seat here, and then we've just got an insane amount of cargo space back here in the back for all your stuff. So you can see that's our largest suitcase, and it fits back here with tons of room to spare, and you can recline that back seat. So very much like that. And yes, you do get some underfloor storage here back in the back as well. So Kia gives you plenty of room and space here in the 2023 Kia EV6 GT. My number 3 dislike of this one, we have to go back to the window sticker. And unfortunately, when you look at it right here, the final price as this one sits, $62,865. So $63,000 for what is a blast of a performance vehicle. But when you compare it to some of its siblings on the same platform with some of very similar performance numbers, yes, I'm talking about the Genesis GV60 Performance all-wheel drive that we tested last summer. I don't know, I just have a hard time swallowing that price tag especially sitting in this manual seat. Again, they are very comfortable. They're racing inspired. They hold you in place. I get all of that, but the Genesis GV60 we tested was right in that same ballpark as far as price, had very comfortable seats that massaged and were ventilated. These are only heated, and they had 2-person memory. So again, just things at this price point that I know the brand can implement that they just didn't here in this Kia EV6 GT. Kind of questionable, nitpicky, maybe. My number 4 like of this vehicle is the technology on this. There is just absolutely wonderful amounts of tech in this. You have the dual screen setup right here with plenty of information here in front of you, customizable section right here, and the gauges actually change depending on your drive mode. I just hit the green GT button, so now we're in the GT drive mode, but you can see there's also Eco, Normal, and Sport, and you can see our estimated range changes as we go through all of those. So very nice there. The driver assistance tech on this is amazing. Like the blind spot cameras when you put your blinkers on. I absolutely love that in all Kia, Hyundai, Genesis products. And then you get this very large responsive touchscreen over here that really does give you a good bit of information at a glance when it comes to your EV life. You've got all kinds of different things that you can do with it up here. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Unfortunately, you have to plug that in through a USB-A port, even though we do have a Qi wireless charger right here. So a lot of really good tech in this, both for the occupants inside and for the driver. I didn't even talk about the lane keep assist on this, the adaptive cruise control. Kia really is one of the closest brands to autonomous driving that doesn't really offer anything of the sort, because just what they offer in this vehicle could almost be branded autonomous driving by some other brands. So really good technology here in this Kia EV6. But while we were talking about technology, that brings me to my number 4 gripe of this vehicle, and I don't understand it. Again, the siblings on the same platform from Hyundai and Genesis don't do this. I don't know why Kia has to. I also put this in the Kia Sportage, so one of their best-selling vehicles, if not their best-selling vehicle, and that is this interactive screen for your climate controls and your infotainment controls. And you can see, I hit the button right here, everything turns to climate, so drivers to climate, passengers climate, but if I do nothing with it, it goes back to my audio controls. So now it's volume and tune. So if I wanted to change my temperature over here, I had to hit that button first before I change the dial. And if I forget, or I'm just not used to it, and I go over here and flip the switch, well, it's doing nothing because my audio currently isn't on. So why? Why Kia? Why this? I don't know. Like, you're not freeing up that much more space. The other companies did it very well. I just don't understand why we had to overcomplicate it with this dual mode screen thing right here. You do have a constant set of climate buttons here, no matter what screen you're on, but you can see you can go back and forth between those. I just don't know why. Why do you even have to? So before we go into my next dislike of this vehicle, I did want to bring up an honorable mention for likes in this vehicle. You can see I'm back in the back seat next to Tucker's child safety seat, and one of my big honorable mentions that didn't quite make it onto the 5 likes is the placement of the air vents in this. No, they aren't on the headrest, which would be the ultimate like back here, especially for a family vehicle, which this does a really good job of, but Kia actually places them right here on the B pillar. So you still get a good flow of air back here to the child safety seat, and it's not having to come all the way from the center console. I just feel that it is a better placement for kids here in the back seat. Now, unfortunately, if he were still in a rear-facing car seat, that's really not going to do a whole lot for us, but hopefully, you know, you could point them along the side here and get them to swirl around. I just feel like B-pillar placement is a lot better than the back of the center console. All right, with my honorable mention out of the way, I do want to mix it up a little, and I want to go into my top 5 drawback or dislike of this vehicle, and that doesn't have so much to do with this vehicle, except it does. The current state of the EV charging infrastructure. I referenced earlier when we had the GT Line version, we took that up to Beavers Bend, Oklahoma and back, and we were kind of sweating bullets because there's one charger in between here and there, and the math just didn't work out. So there are some places where you're just going to be limited to where you can go, and this one in particular, having that 206 mile EPA estimated range, it really does come into play, the EV charging infrastructure, the fast charging infrastructure. If you're just looking for a fun, and I mean fun, vehicle for driving around town and not going too far away from home, this is absolutely it. Or, like I said earlier, if you want to trailer it and take it to the track and wear that battery down and then go home, this will be it. But if you're looking for a vehicle that's fun and can do road trips, you may want to look at a Hellcat or something gas powered as opposed to going to something EV right now. But that does take me to my number 2 honorable mention, and that is how fast this thing does charge. It is on an 800 volt architecture. So that means it can go from 10 to 80%, which is when EVs start slowing down the rate of charge to protect the battery for its long-term health. It can go from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes. And on that trip to Beavers Bend and back, we proved that out. It is not just a marketing claim, it's reality. We saw it for ourselves. These charge really quick when you can find a 350 kilowatt charger anywhere around you. So find one that's working, plug it in, this thing will be good to go. So number 2 honorable mention to kind of counteract that number 5 dislike. And then my number 5 like of this vehicle, I know it's kind of lame, but the ride quality of this. So the fact that I was able just to go and do donuts in a parking lot and go have a lot of fun in this, and then hop in it, put my kid's car seat in the back, go to the school pickup line, pick them up and go, and treat this like a family vehicle, really speaks volumes to what Kia has been able to do. This really is a very comfortable riding vehicle all the way around, and if you take it out of GT mode, it's just a quick, comfortable family sedan, which is probably what you want in a vehicle of this size. It's very comfortable for Tucker, very comfortable for long trips, very smooth, thanks to all that weight being down very low in this. But those are our top 5 likes and top 5 dislikes of this Kia EV6 GT. Is there anything we missed? Do you disagree with us? Let us know down in the comments down below. You can also see our full family review of this vehicle coming out later this week by hitting all the buttons down below. Subscribe, like, comment, follow, whatever you have to do to let the algorithms know to show you more content from us. Because that family review is coming, and Holly's behind the wheel, not me. You can also find us on all social media platforms, see some behind the scenes stuff before it is here on the channel. Find us on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, everything at GT Garage Talk. But for me, in the driver's seat of the fastest electric vehicle from the Hyundai Motor Group, until next time, gearheads, bye. Oh my gosh! Electron supplied us with this 48 amp in-home charger. This V-Box can be installed indoors or outdoors, hardwired or plugged into a NEMA 1450 plug, and even comes with a J-hook and an adapter to store your J1772 plug when it's not currently in use. This thing has been an absolute dream for charging many of our press vehicles here on the channel, and we've absolutely loved it. You can help us out and help them out while helping yourself out by checking the link down in the description below and getting one for yourself.